You ready?
Good to see something.
All right. Testing, testing. So, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, community members, and everyone present here today or watching from afar, welcome to the official groundbreaking for the ribbon at East English Village. I'm Eddie Carrington, founder of Flux City Development, and we are gathered here to celebrate the commencement of an exciting new chapter for the East Warren Commercial Corridor as we begin the construction of the ribbon, a development that will breathe new life into the community. Located at 16530 East Warren Avenue, the ribbon will be a 3-story mixed-use building featuring a delightful restaurant on the ground floor and 18 units up top, with 11 of those 18 units being at or below 80% AMI. A groundbreaking signifies the initiation of a project, but as many of you know, it represents the culmination of years of dedication and hard work. To be more specific, it took us 3 hard-fought years to get to this starting point. Our journey began in February of 2020 when Invest Detroit sought proposals for the rehabilitation of this site, which formerly housed an abandoned bank. And what made this request for proposal very unique was the significant role that the community played in deciding which firm would have the honor of redeveloping this property. And I am humbled to say that the community chose us. During the planning stages, community engagement was paramount, especially in the time when in-person engagement was very challenging. We initially started our engagement process virtually in partnership with East Warren Development Corporation, which included several Zoom community meetings that averaged 45 attendees. One of our most successful forms of community engagement was partnering with the East Warren Development Corporation to relaunch the East Warren Farmers Market Initiative right here in this very parking lot. The relaunching of the East Warren Farmers Market was a significant event because it once gave local vendors the opportunity to sell directly to East English Village, Cornerstone, and Morningside neighborhoods that line this commercial corridor. I worked with EWDC and Invest Detroit to host 15 farmers markets at this site, which averaged 125 visitors in attendance in the year 2020. This gave our team the ability to safely interact with the local community in person on a weekly basis. By working together to restart this tradition, we enabled that's what I'm talking about. We enabled the local vendors to generate revenue of over $25,000 that season. Can we get a hand on that? We use these opportunities to connect with the local community to gain more detailed feedback on things such as what the community would like the building to look like, the type of tenant they'd like to see, and more. During these interactions, one message resonated loud and clear from the community: the desire for a restaurant at this site. Keeping their aspirations at the forefront, I made it my mission to find the right tenant. And after personally reaching out to over 200 restaurants that fit the community's requirements, we finally found the perfect match, and I am thrilled to announce that Gajiza Dumplings, led by the incredible Jasmine Haskins, will be gracing our ground floor. Jasmine is actually a current and long-term resident of East English Village, which will help bring this development full circle for the community. And you can actually get a taste of their food today here on site, as there will be samples in the trailer behind you. As we celebrate the official start of construction for the ribbon, I want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank the partners who made this project possible. To Invest Detroit, thank you. The numerous contributions ranging from community engagement support, pre-development funding, new markets tax credit financing guidance, S&F support, and more have been vital to the ribbon's progress. Your emphasis on supporting aspiring developers of color and undertaking projects such as this also showcases your organization's unwavering commitment to empowering individuals that look and talk and walk like me. Level up. To Capital Impact Partners, thank you. The commitment shown by Capital Impact Partners in fostering growth and promoting equitable development in Detroit's communities is highly commendable. You have provided not only financial support through the Diversity and Development Loan Fund and Developer of Color grants, but also invaluable education through the Equitable Development Initiative Program, which is a master-level class for aspiring developers of color to learn the walk and talk of commercial real estate development. These resources have been pivotal in molding me into a developer. To LISC/DHFF, thank you. Your input and generous contributions have been crucial. With a generous allocation from the DHFF fund at a favorable rate, timely support via your Developer of Color grant, and your preferred equity investment, you have bolstered the project at critical junctures, and your team's financial acumen and commitment have played a vital role in the project's success early on. To the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, thank you. There is no secret that bridging financial gaps is a challenge in Detroit's real estate landscape. With your brownfield and CRP support, the Ribbon found the necessary means to move forward. MEDC's support was not only instrumental in overcoming financial hurdles, but also pivotal in lending credibility to the project. MEDC's early support served as validation, assuring the other funding partners of the projects and the team's legitimacy. To the Detroit Economic Development Corporation, thank you. DEGC's efforts in helping to secure Oprah and brownfield tax abatements have been indispensable. These incentives have been crucial in ensuring the financial feasibility of the Ribbon project, and we are profoundly grateful for DEGC's expertise, support, and time. Little drama there. To Dudley Ventures, thank you. Thank you for allocating New Markets tax credits financing towards this project. At a time when construction materials and labor costs have soared, the vital funding helped bridge the significant gap at a pivotal point, enabling us to get the construction loan closed and helping the project to stay on course. To Blue Cross Blue Shield, thank you. Thank you for your support with regard to the Strategic Neighborhood Fund Initiative. This vital partnership between the City of Detroit, Invest Detroit, neighborhood residents, and corporate donors, including Blue Cross Blue Shield, has been essential in funding community-driven projects such as the Ribbon. Your commitment reflects a deep investment in the well-being and future of the East English Village community. To Artisan Contracting, thank you. Securing a GC in 2020 who was willing to guide an aspiring developer through the intricacies of pricing, scheduling, and more proved to be a considerable challenge, and lucky for me, you were willing to come along for the ride. To Infuse Architects, thank you. The architectural expertise of Infuse has been vital. Their team spent countless hours providing insights and helping us understand the fundamentals of building design, ensuring that the Ribbon is functional and aesthetically pleasing. To Joe Rashid and the East Warren Development Corporation, thank you. The community engagement support provided by EWDC has been invaluable. Partnering with EWDC for the revival of the East Warren Farmers Market in 2020 helped foster a strong relationship with the community. To the East English Village, Morningside, and Cornerstone communities, thank you. Thank you. Your patience, insight, and engagement have been the driving force behind this project. Being receptive to the project, receptive to a new developer, providing feedback, and showing support made all the difference. To Congresswoman Letitia Johnson of District 4.
All right, I like the sound of that.
Thank you. Congresswoman Johnson's unwavering support and astute guidance have been invaluable. Did I use the wrong word? Councilwoman. I did say councilwoman. Oh, okay. Okay, all right, cool. All right. Okay, all right, cool. I do see Congresswoman. Whoops. But Councilwoman Johnson's belief in the project and the feedback she provided was crucial in steering the project to where it is today. Thank you, Councilwoman. Really appreciate it. Each one of these partners has contributed uniquely to the project. The ribbon at East English Village stands as a testament to what can be achieved through collaboration, dedication, and a shared vision for a brighter future. And to the many names and organizations of the people and organizations that I didn't mention today, that I can't mention due to time, please know that your contributions are immensely appreciated. Now, sometimes I refer to myself as the mayor of Flux City, because as a developer, my role entails collaborating with a diverse group of stakeholders. However, this work pales in comparison to the tireless work of the true mayor of Detroit, Mayor Duggan. Mayor Duggan has been an unrelenting advocate for neighborhood revitalization, and the ribbon stands as a testament of his unwavering dedication to fostering an inclusive and equitable city. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mayor Mike Duggan.
All right, how about another hand for Eddie Carrington and this great project? This is what's supposed to happen. We started the Strategic Neighborhood Fund about 6 or 7 years ago because we had so much going on downtown. And I got 7 corporate leaders to come together and agree to put $5 million into commercial strips we thought had potential. And one took Livernois, and one took McNichols, and one took Kercheval, and one took Grand River and the like. Dan Lepp, the CEO of Blue Cross, grew up in this neighborhood. And he said, I'll commit $5 million if I can have East Warren. And we said, we have a deal. And Ken is here today to represent them. So once we had Blue Cross, we then said, okay, we're going to build out a streetscape. And these streetscape projects tend to generate a lot of emotion in this town. And I've learned in every single one, we have a community meeting. We actually talk about it for a couple hours, and then we raise hands and vote, and I lead these meetings. Except with what Joe Rashid and the group had done, there was so much discussion and input. We had the community meeting in that big soccer dome. I don't know, we had 200, 250 people. The meeting lasted a half hour, and the vote was 198 to 2. And I said, Joe had already done the work. The community already bought into this vision. And so when you have the folks from Invest Detroit helping with the businesses, when you have MEDC, and then the Detroit Housing for the Future Fund, Camille Walker Banks, they're like a gift from God. They have sped up the affordable housing building in this city so rapidly. When all of those things come together, it's great, but I can tell you this for sure. The commercial districts coming back the fastest are the ones where the neighbors are involved in the planning. You go drive down Kercheval and Van Dyke today, and you look at the way it looked 7 or 8 years ago, you would not believe what's happening. You go down Livernois between 7 and 8. You look at what's happening on McNichols now, west of Livernois. You're seeing it happen right now on East Warren. And I'm really pleased in this process to have a partner and a city council member. 9 years ago, this is hard to believe, but there were almost 100 vacant houses in East English Village. And so when I got elected, I sat down with the association, and they had a vice president who was full of opinions. And she convinced me the city shouldn't sit on those vacant houses. We ought to have auctions, and we have an open house. She says, that's what we do when we have people putting up for sale. So at her suggestion, we held an open house in early 2014. 1,000 people showed up looking at these beautiful homes. It was the jump start to the process. And that community leader who's been doing it for all these years and has strong opinions on everything said, what I really would like is a restaurant that I can walk to from my house. And I'm really pleased today to say that your council member currently is out of this neighborhood, loves this neighborhood. This is her day. Please welcome Council Member Letitia Johnson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. And thank you all for being here. I could stand here and probably talk as long as Eddie did because for 18 years I've lived 2 blocks from this location. And I can remember, I see so many neighbors, community leaders here that have been here longer than I have. But I can remember so many years when this was a blighted corridor and we were doing everything that we could to salvage properties, to make sure people were not stripping properties. And so initially we probably thought it was for naught, but we're here today. And this certainly has been a long day coming. I want to thank so many of you as I look throughout this parking lot, because this took everybody in order for not only this location, but the revitalization of the East Warren corridor for it to happen. And so I have to give a special thank you to Blue Cross Blue Shield because I think without these strategic neighborhood funds that helped to catapult the work that was happening within this corridor, it may have taken us longer to get to this corridor. In spite of the fact that we have amazing architecture in our homes, we have a middle-class community, and we've always had few vacancies in East English Village, but we still had this blighted corridor. So we all know that it took for all of us to come together collectively and intentionally to ensure that we are revitalizing our neighborhood commercial corridors. I stand here as a neighbor, I stand here as a future patron of Gajiza, and appreciate that we have a restaurant that's being opened up in the neighborhood by one of our neighbors. That's extremely important. It's extremely important to recognize that we have a developer that is not only from Detroit, but is a Black developer in Detroit doing development. I strongly believe that Detroit developers develop differently. To see deeply affordable units in this community when we had a house just 2 blocks from here sell for over $300,000 in the last 3 months shows me Flux City's and Eddie Carrington's commitment, their passion, their dedication to Detroiters. And that's why I say Detroiters develop differently. And I look forward to hopefully additional projects that Flux City wants to do in District 4, and certainly looking for support from all of you to continue this work. I know there is some amazing work happening not only on East Warren but throughout the east side of Detroit, and so we just have to continue to build upon this momentum. So thank you all so much for being here, and Eddie Carrington, thank you for staying and being committed to this project.
All right, so now I'd like to introduce Matt McCauley, MEDC Senior Vice President of Regional Prosperity.
Well, I'll be rather brief, but I want everyone to know the first thing I do when I come to a project such as this is I get here a little bit early and I drive around. I see what's happening in the neighborhood and see if we're talking about one piece of property, one parcel, or part of something bigger. And I can tell you that this is definitely part of something bigger. And I drove this 2-mile stretch, probably don't tell Greenpeace this, probably 3-4 times just back and forth in looking at the different developments going on. And this is just one of many. The MEDC is extremely happy and proud to be part of any catalyst project, any spark. But we are ecstatic when we are part of many different sparks and catalyst projects as part of a corridor as we are here on East Warren here today. I want to thank Mr. Mayor, Councilwoman, as leaders, visionaries for this corridor, for this city. Also would like to thank the Detroit Economic Growth Corporation and their leadership in continuous working with the MEDC and how we can be a partner to projects like this throughout the entire city. Mr. Mayor said it best earlier when talking about the power of partnerships. The MEDC sees itself always as a partner, and the best way to engage us is when there are crowds such as this, rooms such as the soccer field, that communities come together and say, this is where you want to grow, this is how you see yourself in the future. That's when we are especially proud to come forward and partner. So thank you for having me here today, and we look forward to continuing to invest in Detroit and other commercial corridors as well. Thank you.
Next up, Camille Walker-Banks with LISC Detroit.
Thank you, Ed. Hello. So, since 1990, LISC has been investing in Detroit and driving bold ideas and resources and connecting residents to wealth-building opportunities, home ownership, small business supports, and more importantly, helping Detroiters to access those resources that allow for the build-out of affordable housing, employment training, wraparound services. We have centers for working families that serve the Detroiters for their needs. But for this particular project, we utilized and created, with the assistance of the community, the Detroit Housing for the Future. So in 2018, the city published a multifamily support affordable housing strategy report, which confirmed the extensive housing challenges that the city has been facing due to rising housing costs, declines of obsolescence in available resources and programming designed to create and preserve affordable housing. The Detroit Housing for the Future Fund was created in response to this crisis, and the fund closed with $58 million of funding. Thanks to, and I'm going to thank the Investor Advisor Council members who are here, JP Morgan Chase, who was the first in with the DHFF portfolio. So thank you. We have Belinda Asmati, who came in from Washington, D.C. to support this initiative. I'd like to also acknowledge another investor from PNC Bank. We have Brian Keeler. Thank you for being here, supporting. Other investors, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Thank you. Yes, woo! Ford Motor Company, CIBC Bank, Citizens Bank, the Huntington Bank, Fifth Third Bank, First Independence Bank, Flagstar, Key Bank, Penske Corporation, TCF/Chemical Bank, now merged with Huntington National Bank, and the Kresge Foundation. So demand for this type of capital is extremely high in that the fund has been fully allocated. So yay, it's a need. 1 year ahead of schedule even. And so with a robust waiting list of projects, we're seeking support across the city. And with the total development of development cost of $71.6 million, with 406 units financed and 376 units in progress, our commitment to equitable investment is real in the Developers of Color grant recipients, where the ribbon is a recipient of, thanks to JP Morgan Chase. But we've been able to provide 10 grants to developers of color across the city. And so I wanted, yeah, that's major. Thank you. So I too would like to thank Mayor Mike Duggan and the Housing Revitalization team for their partnership, as well as MISHTA. And with that concludes my remarks, and we're going to celebrate this amazing project. Thank you.
All right, so now I'd like to introduce Kiona Cohen, EVP Leading Invest Detroit, or Lending Invest Detroit.
Good afternoon. Look at this village. It takes a village to get these projects done, from the community and its engagement and participation specifically in this project, in selecting Eddie, to the city, to the state, to all of these CDFIs and other funders. If not for all of these partners, including our corporate sponsors for both the Detroit Housing for the Future Fund and the Strategic Fund, we would not be able to do things that we're doing today in these corridors. This decades and decades of disinvestment are being questioned, are being challenged, but we are being catalytic in our efforts to change the environment, to create the growth and sustainability in this community. I represent Invest Detroit as the Executive Vice President of Lending for the entire organization that focuses on creating density and catalytic projects, supporting jobs by way of commercial and industrial, as well as small businesses. And this is a clear example of the commitment that we have to this community and to our partners. Eddie, congratulations. That's right. We should applaud this Detroiter of color that is focused on helping to revitalize and spark investment in our community. So we applaud you, Eddie, for all the hard work that you have done and all the work that you are going to continue to do to bring this project and other projects throughout the city to fruition. We also want to acknowledge the partners that were instrumental in getting this done, being the community groups, being Morningside Neighborhood Association, Cornerstone Village Association, East English Village Association, of course Joe Rashid, at the East Warren Cashew Development Corporation. I just want to leave you with this. The African proverb says it takes a village, and at Invest Detroit, we have a mission and a focus and a theme for this year, and that is the power of we. Not only the we of the Invest Detroit employees that have helped to put 3 different critical tools, being our Strategic Neighborhood Fund through our public-private philanthropic partnership with the corporate sponsors in the city of Detroit, but also our new market tax credit allocation and our traditional financing tools in order to bring this project along with the partners to fruition. And so with that, again, I say thank you to all of our key partners, one of which I want to introduce at this point. So Invest Detroit, thank you, thank you, thank you. All of you behind the scenes do an amazing job in order to make things happen. With that, I want to bring the corporate sponsor for this particular neighborhood. You've already heard the commitment that the president and CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield has to this area, but I want to bring up Ken Haywood, the, he is the Vice President of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan.
Yeah. Long titles, they get you every time. But anyhow, hope everybody can see me. The mic's a little low. But a couple of observations first. Erica and our comms team loves it when I go off the talking points, but that's okay. How about Eddie, developer, having to MC this thing and knocking it out of the park? Don't leave your day job, Eddie. Don't leave your day job. I don't want to see you hosting a TV show or anything like that. And then the mayor. First of all, the mayor, talked about Dan Lupp, and so he took about half of my comments. Thank you, Mayor. He's a real professional. He doesn't use any notes, and not only does that obviously talk about how many times he gives these speeches, but to me, it is because it's from his core and what he's about. And if you ever hear him talk, you talk the State of the City address about the blight and his Department of Neighborhood folks that we get the pleasure to work with and their commitment to what the mayor's goal is. I mean, he gets up here and talks because he believes it and he's making a difference. And it's such a pleasure to work with the mayor and his team, and let's give it up for them. I need notes. And of course, Letitia Johnson has been a great city council member. I'll give you your second endorsement for the House if you want it. You got 2 now, 2 votes. But in all seriousness, we are here representing Dan Lupp today, our CEO. Dan Lupp spent his childhood sledding in Baldock Park. And the thing I'd like to point out about our Strategic Neighborhood Fund commitment, first of all, when the mayor calls, you answer. And when he has a plan like this, you jump in. But what I'd like to think about Blue Cross is we didn't just give the money. We gave the resources, the time, the energy, because we believe that this neighborhood, we believe in the neighborhood, first of all. We believe in community, and we believe that we could help make a difference. And when I hear Eddie standing up here thanking all the partners and everybody who helped him, you know, Eddie's the guy that put it all together. And it's going to take Eddie and a lot of people like him to do it. But we are committed to the Strategic Neighborhood Fund and the work that they do. And it's a pleasure to work with the Invest Detroit folks. Mike and Carrie in particular have been great. So we're committed, not just giving the money. We are committed to this. I want to make sure I mention a few people. We have a few people on our team here from Blue Cross. Our executive director and vice president of our foundation, Audrey Harvey's here. Audrey, she runs the Blue Cross Foundation. And we have Paula Frida from Blue Cross Complete, which does a very important work here, and one of his partners in the neighborhood that works in the dedicated, Ryan from the dedicated clinic in ChenMed, Ryan back there. If you don't know, there's a free clinic. ChenMed does great work. Go visit it if you haven't. But it's great to have these partners here, and I have to mention community responsibility team, boots on the ground. LaDonna's here, Christy's here. They're the people in the community working hard every day. And that's our connection to this community because they're in it and love it and work in it. So, you know, being a sponsor of the East Warren development, being partners with the 3 neighborhood presidents, and I know if your neighborhood president, raise your hands. I know we have some neighborhood presidents here too. Like's been mentioned already, and what Dan Lepp says all the time, it's not what we want. No offense, Mayor, it's not what the city wants. It's what the neighborhood wants. And that's why we stay connected to them, because we want to do what they want. We want to do what's important to them. Might not be what we think is important, but you know what? They live here, and we are committed to helping them try to get what they want with this money, and what an example this is of that. They were here in case I had a heart attack because I had to public speak. That's why they're here. So we're good. We're good. One of the big projects we do and our funds help support is Eagle Sports, who activates youth programming in our neighborhoods in Baldock Park. And Nate's here from Eagle Sports. Nate, say hello. The amazing work that they do in the neighborhood is unbelievable. And one more thing I want to mention, we do a program, it's called Building Healthy Communities. Building Healthy Communities is a program that goes into schools. And it's in every school in this neighborhood, District 4, all adopt the Building Healthy Communities program, which we fund and donate. And it is focused on keeping people active, keeping people mentally sound, and keeping people and focusing on nutrition. And those are 3 building blocks of building a healthy community. And starting habits when they're young, we're very part of this program, so it's a little off script from what we're here to celebrate today, but I want you to know that our commitment isn't just through SNF. Our commitment is throughout the community with Eagle Sports, with Building Healthy Communities, and we're very excited. We've served over 1 million Michigan students over the lifespan of that program. So finally, this is a great thing. The street in the middle of the streetscape, this project is going to be tremendous. Working with these partners, we are very excited about the future. Thank you for being here. Thank you, and everybody's thanked Blue Cross, and I just want to say it's nice to be thanked, but everybody who's thanked us is boots on the ground getting this thing done. So we're with you. We're going to continue to support you, and we're very proud and honored to be a part of it. Thank you.
All right, next I'd like to introduce Donald Rencher, Group Executive for Housing, Planning, and Development, City of Detroit.
All right. Thank you so much, Eddie. I'm going to be very, very short. As you can see, we have a long list of people who are involved in this particular project. In my position, I'm really, really focused on neighborhoods. As we heard before in the discussion of disinvestment, and after decades of disinvestment, how do we bring investment back to our corridors and our neighborhoods throughout the city of Detroit? And it takes targeted, purposeful, strategic vision led by the mayor through our different programs, the DHFF, the SNF program. I just want to make sure Detroiters know that we're going to be here, and we believe that this is something that the neighborhood deserves, and we're really, really proud of this. And it's also an example of the ecosystem working from Capital Impact providing knowledge-based information to help developers who want to push out a dream, to grant opportunities and just debt investment and getting people interested in investing in this particular neighborhood and corridor. So I just want to thank the entire ecosystem. As Kiona said, we couldn't have done it without a collective group effort. I want to thank Eddie, who's been persistent and consistent to pushing this project forward. And I really, really want to thank the community for being passionate and getting your voices heard. The city of Detroit, through the Housing Revitalization Department and the Planning Department, have so much passion for this particular neighborhood and the work that they're doing here. I just can't be more prouder, and there's more to come. There's more to come, and this is one of the first projects out of many that we want to see happen. So thank you again.
Next up, Joe Rashid, East Warren Development Corporation, and he's one of the reasons why I'm here, and I gotta make sure I point that out, and I really appreciate. You shouldn't have let me, but I really appreciate Joe. So bring up Joe.
Thank you. Man, yeah, this is a long time coming. I moved to the neighborhood 9 years ago, started as commercial co-chair over here in the neighborhood. And we started kind of figuring things out. We had 36% occupancy on East Warren. We're now up to about 50, and we got a lot of momentum happening. If you look behind you, we have street trees for the first time probably ever, which is incredible. So this new streetscape is really a testament. I can't thank the city enough for the streetscape and for the support of our developers. Invest Detroit, I think the neighborhoods team, Mike, Nate, Jermaine, I think probably about 6 years ago, we met over at the library and talked about potential developments that could happen. And we pointed out this bank. And you guys said, you know what, this seems like a viable project. And we put it out for a joint RFP. Well, you know, an RFP which we partnered on, and Eddie was selected. And couldn't be more happy with Eddie being the one selected. He is so intentional about really, you know, participating in the community, making sure he's here. He's almost at every one of our farmers market even today. And that's just a testament to his character, right? We have one of the best developers in the city coming to develop this project, and we're just ecstatic to have that happen. To our neighborhood, right? This didn't start with me. This started with concerned residents being frustrated with the occupancy level of our corridor and wanting places to shop, wanting places to congregate. And this project's really a testament to that. And so through the East Warren Cadju planning process and Alan Penniman and the team over at Planning and Development, this wouldn't have happened without your leadership and being able to move that forward. So, you know, as was said earlier by Kiona, you know, it really does take a village. It really is a community project, and this is a project that is happening with the neighborhood, not to the neighborhood, right? And that's what's really important about how these developments are being done here in the neighborhood, and we can't express our gratitude enough for that. And lastly, you know, this is also about making the commercial corridor bankable again. We've had probably, 70 years of disinvestment here in the city. And so what can we do to get our commercial corridors bankable again? And without the Strategic Neighborhood Fund and without Invest Detroit kind of helping to foster that and lead that through along with the City of Detroit and Blue Cross Blue Shield here, it wouldn't be possible. So, thank you to everyone, and thank you to East Warren. I know it's been a long program, so I'm going to stop there, but thank you, everyone.
I also want to acknowledge citywide council member Mary Waters. She's also here today. Give her a hand for. And that's pretty much a wrap. I really appreciate everybody attending today as we embark on a new journey here. And I can't wait to bring you back for the ribbon cutting, pun intended. With that said, we do have some tasty snacks in the trailer behind you. So if you would like to try out Gajaiza's tasty dumplings or other offerings that they have, please check them out. And once again, thanks again. Have a good one. We do need some photos here.